Throughout the history of Call of Duty, we've had some incredible campaigns. But for every hero, there has to be a villain.
Remember, no Russian.
And sometimes we don't recognize who the villains are until it's too late. Now, I'm sure I've already triggered your memory back to some of the biggest betrayals we've experienced as COD players. General Shepard killing Ghost and Roach, Salazar working as an inside man for Raul Menendez, or even Jonathan Irons in Advanced Warfare. But today, we're gonna talk about one of the most forgotten betrayals in Call of Duty history, and quite possibly the worst. Our story begins all the way back in Call of Duty World at War. In the frigid lands of Stalingrad, during the heart of World War II, we were introduced to a young and determined Russian soldier, like many others at the time, had been thrust into the chaos of war. And who was that young man, you ask? His name was Dimitri Petrenko. Dimitri experienced the horrors of battle firsthand, but we witnessed his growth from a naive soldier to a battle-hardened warrior, navigating the treacherous streets of Stalingrad, fighting against the invading German forces. Dimitri's journey took a pivotal turn when he was tasked with assassinating a German major general by the name of Heinrich Amsel. If you're a big Zombies fan, you'll also know this character is Edward Richtofen. That is because during the development of World at War, the team behind the creation of Zombies didn't have the same level of backing from Activision as the campaign and multiplayer had, so they had to borrow character models from the campaign. Therefore, Heinrich Amsel became Edward Richtofen. But anyway, back to Dimitri. So he was tasked with assassinating Major General Amsel, and you might be thinking, who on earth was crazy enough to task a fresh-faced private with such a significant responsibility? Well, it was none other than the legendary Sergeant Viktor Reznov.
My name is Viktor Reznov. And I will have my revenge!
During the German occupation of Stalingrad, Major General Amsel gained infamy for orchestrating brutal massacres against Soviet soldiers and civilians. His role in the occupation led to Sergeant Reznov spending days relentlessly stalking Amsel.
For 3 days, I have hunted him. For 3 days, luck alone has saved his wretched life.
Reznov described Amsel as the architect of Stalingrad's misery.
No more dark in the car is General Heinrich Amsel, architect of Stalingrad's misery.
It was not until September 17, 1942, after a massacre of soldiers from a Soviet infantry division took place, that Reznov enlisted the aid of Private Petrenko in helping him track down and assassinate Amsel.
Do what I say, and we can avenge this massacre.
This mission became a turning point in Dimitri's life, propelling him into the ranks of the legendary Sniper Brigade.
My injured hand will take any longer aim, but you will do it for me.
As Dimitri honed his marksmanship skills, we were treated to intense and heart-pounding sniper missions that challenged Dimitri's courage and precision, which eventually led to the successful assassination of Major General Amsel.
You are a true marksman!
Alongside his comrades, Dimitri's bravery shined through as he battled not only the enemy, but also the harsh elements of war-torn Russia. Amidst the chaos of war, Dimitri forged strong bonds with his fellow soldiers, most notably with his friend Viktor Reznov.
Dimitri Petrenko! I saw this man cheat death, time after time at the siege of Stalingrad. As long as he lives, the heart of this army cannot be broken. He makes us all proud.
Their camaraderie was tested time and time again as they harrowingly battled their way towards Berlin, escaping capture and continually cheating death.
Once again, you cheat death.
Dimitri and Reznov's friendship became the bedrock of the Russian campaign, and it was their determination to see the end of the war that got them through their suffering. Together, they endured unimaginable challenges, sacrificing for each other and their homeland.
Once more, we cheat death.
As the war escalated towards its climatic conclusion, Dimitri and his comrades found themselves in the heart of Berlin, hunting down the last of the German resistance. The Battle of Berlin became a defining moment for Dimitri as he fought alongside Reznov and his fellow soldiers, pushing forward into the Reichstag to topple the Third Reich.
Shut up! No! Dimitri!
Someone should read this. The path towards our glorious victory has been a journey of blood and brutality. All of it has been necessary. When the flag of our motherland flies atop the Reichstag, all of Berlin will know that the evil of the fascist Reich has been wiped from the face of the earth.
The final push towards victory was grueling and relentless, but Dimitri's unyielding spirit drove him forward, and I'm sure we all remember this iconic moment from the World at War campaign.
Aim of victory!
You can make it, my friend. You'll always survive.
The honor should be yours.
As long as you live, the heart of this army can never be broken.
Things will change, my friend. As heroes, we will return to Russia's embrace.
This is how Dimitri Petrenko's story ended in Call of Duty World at War, and it's how most of us remember Dimitri, the hero of Stalingrad who conquered Berlin. However, even though this was the end of the World at War campaign, it wasn't the end of Dimitri's story. Fast forward to Black Ops 1. We are now playing as Alex Mason, who was being held captive as a prisoner in Vorkuda. During this time as a prisoner, he befriended a Russian inmate by the name of, you guessed it,
Victor! Reznov!
Reznov and Mason may have been on opposite sides of the Cold War, but they shared common enemies. The infamous Nikita Dragovich and Lev Kravchenko, who were responsible for both Mason and Reznov's imprisonment. Prior to Mason's detainment, he was sent to Cuba as part of a Black Ops mission with orders to assassinate Cuban President Fidel Castro.
We went in to kill Castro.
However, the mission didn't go to plan, and he was captured by Castro, who then handed Mason over to Dragovich,
This is my gift to you, in honor of our new relationship.
where he would put Mason in Vorkuda for the next 2 years so that German scientist Frederick Steiner could attempt to turn Mason into a sleeper agent to carry out Dragovich's plans.
I have plans for you, American.
However, the strong bond that Mason formed with Reznov interfered with the attempted brainwash, as Reznov took the time to share his story and explain how he had been captured.
My father was a musician in Stalingrad. During the German occupation, the sound of his violin filled the air with magnificent music. Korsakov, Stasov, many of the great nationalist composers. To my countrymen, it was a symbol of hope. To the Germans, it was a symbol of defiance. Even now, his music still haunts me. The Nazis slit his throat while he slept. Collaborating with any Nazi is a betrayal against all of Mother Russia. Dragovich, Krashenko were not troubled by such matters. They look only to advance their own interests and agendas.
This took us to a flashback mission where Reznov was once again fighting alongside Dimitri Petrenko just after World War II.
Dimitri Petrenko was one of the bravest men I have ever known. He fought by my side from the siege of Stalingrad to the fall of Berlin. The wounds he sustained, ensuring our victory, should have earned him a hero's welcome to Russia. But Stalin had little need for heroes.
Reznov and Dimitri had been ordered by Dragovich and Kravchenko to carry out an assault on the German Arctic base with the objective of capturing Frederick Steiner alive.
We are here for one German, and one German only, Dr. Friedrich Steiner. This man has offered his cooperation to our cause. He is not to be harmed. Disobey this order, and you will be shot.
The key reason why Dragovich and Kravchenko wanted Steiner alive was because they had heavy interest in a weapon of mass destruction that Steiner had been developing for the Germans called Nova 6.
In 43, the Fuhrer realized the Allies could not be held back for much longer. We began to look for more unconventional solutions. Throughout the war, my own research was focused on chemical weapons. It was meticulous and frustrating work. However, what we finally developed was a weapon more effective than we had ever dared to imagine. The weapon now housed within this vessel.
Nova 6.
Reznov and Dimitri pushed through the German base, captured Steiner alive.
Russian dog!
Reznov was reluctant to keep Steiner alive, but explained to Mason why he didn't kill him.
As I looked into the Germans' eyes, I saw the fascist Reich still burning strong. At that moment, every fiber of my being yearned to put an end to his wretched life. But I was a soldier then. I still believed in orders.
Reznov, open the door.
We had found what we were looking for. Nova 6. The German weapon of mass destruction now belonged to Mother Russia. Or so it seemed. Our victory was to be short-lived. Dragovich wanted to see the effects of the poison firsthand. It was also an opportunity to remove a thorn in his side. I had long known of their distrust, what kind of men they were. It was a betrayal I should have foreseen. Dimitri Petrenko was a hero. He deserved a hero's death. Instead of giving his life for the glory of the motherland, he died for nothing, like an animal. He shot up died in Berlin.
Dimitri Petrenko, the hero of Stalingrad, the conqueror of Berlin, killed for nothing by his own people. If this isn't the most brutal betrayal in Call of Duty history, then I don't know what is.